Hello, good people. How's everyone doing tonight? It is Friday, the 15th of October. This is your boy Alvin, and we are here for a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. It has been a short week for some of us, as I was reminded that for especially, since I'm a government worker, that, my short weeks are different from everybody else's. But I hope you all had a great holiday. I know I did. And this week kind of wore on me because of that. Hope everybody's been doing pretty good. We are excited about the show tonight. It is just me and my brothers tonight, bringing you all our show, which is called To Chapelle or Not to Chapelle. Like many of you, we have all been listening to all of the comments and all of the, oh my God, I'm just going to say all of the feeds and everything from the new Netflix special, the show that David Chappelle is now doing, The Closer. And when I tell you there's been a boatload of controversy around that specials, some that, wow, I just didn't expect. I didn't expect it. So tonight we're going to talk about it, and we're going to give you our opinions about, the show, what we saw, how we feel. And I want to tell you all right now, straight up, we are not here talking about the show in a way to insult anyone or try to come against anyone for their opinions and how they feel about the show. That is not the case here tonight. Our show is always about love, but tonight, we are talking about a controversial topic, which is Dave Chappelle's new special on Netflix. So hang in there with us. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how you feel or felt or feeling about the show. So please don't be a stranger tonight. Go in our comment section and talk to us. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guys on, Mr. Vash Bodhi and Saladin there. They're in the background. Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey.
Hey, Saladin. Hey, Alvin.
Hey.
I'm well. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good.
All right.
It's been a while since we've been on here. Just us. Okay. Just the three of us. So hey Monica, how you doing? Like I said, tonight we're going to talk about a topic that definitely has all of social media buzzing, on fire.
Yes.
Just completely lit. So we're going to do that. But first, I wanted to ask you guys: have you heard about? We've had two people who I just want to pay tribute, not tribute, but just let them know that we have them in our prayers. Former President Bill Clinton, he was hospitalized.
Yes, indeed.
Last week, and they say he's doing good.
Okay.
But he went in for a urinary tract infection. But I think he waited too long to go and see about it, and it has started to impact some of his other organs in his body. So, but they say he is adapting well to the medication, and
Wonderful.
so we're going to send up prayers for our former Bill Clinton. And I also want to, give a special shout out to Howie Mandel. Did you all hear about him as well?
No, what's going on with Howie Mandel?
Okay, Howie Mandel fell out in Starbucks.
What? Because the prices went up?
He was voguing?
That's what.
Yes, he was just voguing. He was just bringing it to the dance floor.
Right. Well, I mean,
and
it wasn't from holding a cup, because I'm sure someone was doing that for him. But no, he passed out in Starbucks, and his sugar was low. And it was a big deal in California. And someone was laughing and saying that it was probably because of the prices. But
where was Sally Field?
Did they really? Because that's what I said. That's hilarious.
Sally Field.
Where was Sally Field? Just drink the juice, Shelby. Howie, just drink the juice. Just introduce Howie.
Is that from a movie, Saladin?
Yes, Steel
Oh,
Magnolia.
yeah, from Steel Magnolias.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness, yes.
See, this is why Saladin, okay, look, see, he's not only he knows about old school music, he can quote a line from a movie sometimes, like he just did, and it went completely over my head. But when you said it, who it was from or where it was, I completely got it. So yeah, he truly got some old souls up in him. But I know you all heard, I know you all are ready
Uh-oh.
for Miss Adele, who has released her new single today after 2015. Look at her, y'all.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
Goddess.
Okay. And I guess I would be twisting and turning my body like that too if she got this new boyfriend on her arm, Mr. Skepta.
Wow.
Okay. Come on,
Magic
Adele.
stick. Magic.
So, I think our producer actually said that Skepta reminded him of Saladin when he first looked at the picture.
Wow.
Yeah,
Was
I don't
she-
see that. He's very
Huh?
attractive. I don't
he-
see that at all.
I think it's a nose thing, and just the way you hold your head sometimes. Look at him; he keeps putting it. You are a fool. Okay. And boosters. For those of us who have taken our fights, our vaccinate who have been vaccinated for COVID. If you took the Moderna shot, the booster was approved today, and so for those of you who plan to get that, like moi, I cannot wait. I'm running. So I'm telling all of you, if you haven't gotten your shots, and please go get vaccinated. But the Moderna booster was approved today. So get in line and do what you got to do to get that extra piece of protection. All right.
Yep.
One more thing I want to share with you all in this chat. Have you all seen Steve Harvey lately?
Woo!
Have you
Father.
seen-
Yes.
Look at
Super
him.
fly. He
Look
looks
at
amazing.
him.
He's looking
I'm
very
so here for
metro.
this.
I
love
want to
it.
know who his stylist is. I have to do some homework. I don't know who his
The
stylist
look in the
is.
middle was slightly pooky, but everything else is really killing it.
It's killing it.
Yeah.
And here's I'm sorry, what you say, Vosh?
No, go ahead.
No, I said I have another one too. That look
Wow.
at this one.
Fly. He looks dope. I love it.
Mhm.
So if anybody goes in in that store, Today's Man, hopefully you won't see those 8-button suits that he used to wear. You're going to see some of this. Okay, you're not going to see some of those suits that you see in church and all you looking at buttons and they're just running up and down. You're going to see this hopefully.
Yeah, you
So-
need to go to the Salvation Army to get his old suits that he donated.
Exactly.
He has a new look.
What is his
New
zip
look.
code?
But I don't
Exactly.
know because Today's Man they know how to get that business. They might keep a couple of those 16-button suits up in there. I don't know.
Or you think they'll keep his suits? I think he'll donate them and just go for this new look because he looks fantastic.
But
He looks like 10 to 20 years younger than what he actually
Facts.
is.
Facts.
Mhm.
So
he
close
actually looks happy.
Oh,
Looks very
Cottrell's
happy.
online. Hi, Cottrell.
Hey,
Dave.
Hi,
Cottrell.
Cottrell.
Control
Oh.
says stylist. Okay.
Oh, Ellie
Oh, Ellie
Cottrell's gonna make me hungry.
Caramo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, one of our viewers have gave us some information about Steve Harvey's stylist. Her name is Ellie. I think it's Caramo. Is that a woman? I'm assuming. It is a woman.
Well, Ellie's
well,
killing it. She
I
made
don't
him
know.
look fantastic.
Yay,
His name. She
Ellie.
says it's his name, so it's a man.
It's a man. Oh, it is a man. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you very much. So look, guys, let's get into this because let me tell you all that before I introduce it. Yes, I know who Dave Chappelle is. I know who he is. I'm a native Washingtonian. I know he went to Duke Ellington. I know who Dave Chappelle is. But it wasn't until this week that I literally looked at all of his, if I could find them, I looked at every special that I could find on him, just so that I could sit down and have this conversation and understand really who he was and some of the things that have been said about him that I couldn't or wouldn't want to have a conversation about had I not taken the time to do some research and look at him. Okay. So I just want you all to know that's how my week has been
So
with
you
this.
never watched the Chappelle show when it was on a few years
I
ago?
did not. I did not. And for no other reason other than I just didn't. I love comedy, but I'm not, it depends. I got to be in the mood for it. But no tea, no shade. I just didn't do it. And so,
Right.
but I did watch this. So, as you all know, the comedian Dave Chappelle loves making people mad. And during his entire career, he's delighted in delivering jokes that offend or tell uncomfortable truths. And his latest special for Netflix, The Closer, is no exception. During this special, he explores a length of strained relationships with the LGBTQI community, clarifying some of his off-color jokes that he's told over the years while delivering new ones, and I have to say bluntly, with plenty of the backlash coming from the LGBTQI community and trans activists, many on social media are pressuring Netflix to remove it from their services. But despite the criticism, the show is currently number 3 on Netflix top 10 list in the United States. So, did Dave Chappelle go too far again? We want to hear from you because you're going to hear from us. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
I don't even know where to start.
I do. So first of all, I want to say to Dave Chappelle, if you're going to come for a community, at least get our name right. He kept saying LBGTQ, and it is LGBTQ. Well, LGBTQI. So get the name right before you start talking about people.
Was he
And
doing
that's
that
just the
intentionally for
No, you could see him stumbling, like trying to get the letters right. So again, if that's going to let you know how I feel about what he did and what he said and where he's coming from, that's just the beginning.
Okay.
Get the name right.
Okay. I didn't. I picked up on that a couple of times when he did that, and I attributed that to nerves. First of all, but I did hear it, so I get where you're coming from. I Overall, I'm just gonna, before I begin picking through the show, I'm going to say that I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the special. And I'm just gonna come right off the cuff. And this has nothing to do with me being a Dave Chappelle fan. I just enjoyed the special because, unbeknownst to me, I took things away from that special that I didn't expect to take away.
Like what?
And like a discussion about the racism that exists in the LGBT community. I walked away. I walked away hearing and knowing how African Americans are also marginalized in the LGBT community.
You didn't know
And
that
I've
going?
experienced. I'm sorry.
Good.
And so I've experienced it, and so I've seen it. And so to bring that on the floor, to have a conversation about it, to me, and I'm gonna let you all, chime in here. The special was, to me, was like, oh shoot, I walked in the library, I didn't know these books were here.
But it's so interesting because so much of what he said was based, it was either historically inaccurate or the things that he sort of put together just made no sense in terms of making a comparison. I mean, what I kept hearing was him saying things just so he could just sort of throw either trans people or LGBTQ people, LGBTQI people into the mix to divide people and go against that community, as he kept referring to people.
Like, what did you hear?
Well, a couple of things stand out to me. One is when he asked the question, when he was pointing out how he's never said anything bad about the trans community, but he said, but I've asked these questions. And the last one, he went through 4 things because I took notes. The last one was, he goes, was it easier? Why was it more difficult for Cassius Clay to change his name than for Caitlyn Jenner to change her gender? And that got a lot of applause because I guess people were supposed to think it's really tough for Black people, but really easy for white trans people. And what I guess he doesn't know is that Christine Jorgensen in 1952
And
changed
Denmark.
her gender, which was 12 years before Cassius Clay tried to change his name. So one should assume that it would be easier for Caitlyn Jenner, some 60 some odd years later, to change her gender, since someone already did that before Cassius Clay. What is interesting is why he didn't say, how was it easy for Prince to change his name from Prince Rogers Nelson to some symbol that no one could pronounce? I mean, it's like, if you're going to compare things, compare them, but to set up these false flags just to make a jab at the community just showed how he was just trying to be mean and vindictive to me. That's
well,
one.
If I was not on the show right now, I would be done with dinner and falling asleep on my couch. So it took me 3 nights to finish The Closer. And I watched the entire thing yesterday. So it was really my 3rd time watching it. And I don't think that, and I could be wrong because maybe I fell asleep and woke back up at a certain point and I didn't take notes, but I paid attention. And I didn't feel or hear any claims that were generally false. I felt as if Dave Chappelle was talking about his experiences with transgender people and the transgender community. I, as a gay Black man who has transgender friends, men and women, I've worked with trans people. I have clients, former clients who are trans, and I love all of them. I really do. And I was not offended by anything that I saw in The Closer, after watching it 3 times.
I want to ask this question because he talked about a lot of things on that show. Mm-hmm. He talked about a lot of things, but the only thing that seemed to be getting attention is his comments about the LGBTQI community. No one has made mention that this man talked about being molested. No one has said anything. No one has talked about that. I'm just saying I haven't heard them talk about that.
Yes, exactly.
And no one has talked about the fact that he used the word nigger, and I'm only going to say that one time on this show. He used it more times than none, which is one of the most offensive things to
Dave
Black
Chappelle.
People.
That's Dave Chappelle.
But I'm just saying, that is Dave Chappelle, and I'm not. Again, let me go back and say I enjoyed it. I found it entertaining. I'm just talking about people are not talking about some of the other things. Everything that, people want to pick and choose what they want to talk about. And in fact, I think he came on in a way to apologize. That was my first feeling. He's apologizing for some of the things that he has said that might have offended our community.
He was also clarifying things that he had said based on the experiences that he was having, like the story about, I forget where he was, but a woman that he thought was a man got in his face and said, that's my girl, or why, you know what I'm talking about? Why are you looking at my girl? And Dave Chappelle was not trying to incite a fight with this person and didn't realize that this person was actually a woman until she had crossed the line with him and they got physical. So that was his experience. And I don't think that he said anything. And Dave Chappelle's humor is vulgar and irreverent. That's how I would characterize his style of humor. It's vulgar and arrogant. And I think he's hilarious. And I was a fan of the Dave Chappelle show. Mm-hmm. And I'm very sensitive around LGBTQI issues because I am a 6'1" Black man. So I have firsthand experience on what it's like to be when I walk through the door, no matter how good I look in my suit, no matter how close my shave is, it doesn't matter. People see a certain thing when I walk into a room, and certain people, I can't control that. And so again, I just think that Dave Chappelle was, back to Alvin's point, I think that he was clarifying and maybe subtly apologizing for certain things, but helping us to understand that he is not this, he's not some transgender hating monster. He wasn't saying, everyone should go outside and beat up a trans person. It's because of trans people that there's HIV and STIs. He didn't make any ridiculous false claims like that. He spoke about his personal experiences.
Alvin, just so to get back to your point, I agree with you that people have not been saying some of the things that they should be saying about the special. He used the N-word 17 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I was surprised because it sounded like he was using them a lot more. Another thing he was doing with this special was really trying to break down the doors and the barriers that I'm going to say PC world, but I don't like that term. There are certain jokes that people have not been telling as of late because, there are communities that have been somewhat marginalized and people are trying to protect them. Knocking those barriers down. He touched on the Asian American Pacific Islander hate crimes. That was one of the first things he did. He talked about male trauma. Like he talked about a lot of the things that we've talked about on this show in ways that people have not been doing it as a way of opening it up for comedians to come back in. There's one comment that said, their slaves have been freed. We can now talk about whatever we want, which means they can now talk about the LGBTQI communities the way that they had in the past, which is just, going to town on us.
I'm no fan of DaBaby, this rapper. I'm not.
Right.
I could name one song of his, but I thought he made a very interesting and compelling point when he said DaBaby, and I don't advocate or I am anti-violence, right? And that's another message that he sent too. Going back to the woman he got into a fight with, it's like leave people alone, be kind, be respectful, and leave people alone. But anyway. He talked about DaBaby who shot a guy in a Walmart.
Killed him
in a Walmart. But then he made, and I don't support the comments that he made, but he made these comments about transgender people, and now he's being canceled. Is he a cancellation process or has he been canceled? Whatever it is.
I think he's still in process.
And for me, that was also to your point, Vosh, that's speaking out about gun rights, gun control rights that we need in this country.
Well, have you guys looked up what happened to the kid that was killed in Walmart? Do you guys know what happened?
No.
Because Chapelle made it seem like he killed this kid and just walked away. It went to court, but a key witness did not show, and they were able to get the case dismissed. So it was a legal process that allowed him to get away, not necessarily that he was just able to do this and walk. So again, to just sort of say, well, he was able to go out and kill someone, therefore he should be allowed to say whatever he wants at a music festival, are just so
No. I'm not saying he has the right to say whatever he wants at a music festival. It's ridiculous in America that someone can actually kill another person in a grocery store or a shopping center and continue to make millions of dollars and then have the audacity to make derogatory and defamatory comments about gay and transgender people, right?
Well,
so it doesn't make sense on many levels. And I'm not saying that because he shot someone and got away with it, that he can say whatever he wants. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it is ridiculous that he was able to shoot someone and continue to earn money, millions of dollars, but then make these comments about people, and his career is on the verge of being completely usurped and upended.
Well, it's the legal system.
Well, but
he went through the legal system. If you have a good attorney and you can get off of something, that is sort of what our legal system is sort of based on. So there again, these arguments are just not logical and copacetic to be able to say and compare. He did something and got off. Halle Berry killed somebody. She's still acting.
Right, but
Kelly
he shot someone.
Children.
Right, but he's going to prison. So the baby shot someone, and I think he shot someone, and yes, he went through the legal process. And on the other hand, he made these comments at this music festival. Did he then go through the legal process?
Okay, but no, let me.
But there's no legality around that.
Let me put this into context how it was
it's not
done
legal.
on the
it's
show.
Just people.
No, Dave Chappelle came against DaBaby for the comments that he made. First of all, he said DaBaby was out of line. He said DaBaby was out of line. He said not even he would have made those type of comments. I still haven't heard what DaBaby said.
Right.
What I felt Dave Chappelle was doing with the comparison of saying that
Dave Chappelle was shocked by what he said.
Well, yeah, he was shocked. But what he was saying was that DaBaby has gone out and killed somebody. Okay, and yes, he
went
got
through the
off,
legal process,
but got off. However, it's known that he's killed somebody. He's out making music, but he makes derogatory comments about the LGBT community, and he is off. He is out. He has done the worst thing he's ever done. He was making the comparison of how powerful the LGBTQI community is. That was the connection that I got from that.
And see, this is where I'm going. He's blaming just the LGBTQI community for what happened to DaBaby, and not the people who are the promoters who are saying, hey, you are a loose cannon. We can't risk losing money off of you coming out here and doing this. He's not acknowledging that there are people who are allies of the community who are just saying, hey, that just on a human rights issue is not acceptable. I mean, we have it. It's like
the promoters are interested in a return on their investment. If
I mean,
the reaction was
the
the opposite and people start praising DaBaby for those comments that he made, if for some reason sales increased at that music festival and they had to extend performances and they wouldn't have said anything. But because of the power of the LGBTQI community,
that was the point.
Yeah,
he was giving the community credit.
I mean, but that's not give. There have been comedians in the past who have said things like, I don't have a problem with Black people. I love that they love watermelon. I mean, these are the kinds of setups and jokes that Dave Chappelle was doing about the community. And people, for some reason, are just not seeing it because I just don't understand. I mean, he's brilliant. He told us in one of his last specials how brilliant he was. Did you see that special where he says, I'm brilliant? He says, I'm brilliant at comedy. This is how you do it. And he sets it up. He just did exactly that. And you can make people think whatever you want. Donald Trump did it. Trump gave us Trumpsters and Chapelle is giving us Chappellesters. It's people following like illogical stuff to get a rise and a result. And I just think that it was just irresponsible and vicious. And I see a hurt person who is just trying to lash out, and it's just sad.
Well, hey Derwin, hey Vincent, hey guys, thank you for joining us tonight. And I think we have a couple of comments, but what did DaBaby really say was really dangerous? That came from Vincent. Vincent, I haven't even heard it. I just know that whatever he said, it was completely out of line. And Anthony, I don't know.
If he made slanderous comments, yes, that's horrible.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to make this. I would like not to make this show about DaBaby.
Well,
I would like to do that. I mean, if we're going to go into what DaBaby did and pull up his court records, then that's something else. But I don't think that's what this show, what we're trying to convey here. We're giving our opinions on Dave Chappelle's commentary, and I just think we're leaning too much on DaBaby. But you all can continue if you got anything to say about it.
Well, one of the things that DaBaby said was, I know I'm gonna jump off of it, but he said, if you're going to be dying in 2 weeks, meaning of AIDS, get out. So
that's the slanderous comment.
But he didn't. But the thing is like that's just not an LGBTQI issue. AIDS on the planet and the stigma surrounding HIV and AIDS affects so many people. And that was another thing that people were just like, dude, that's just too much. And then after Chappelle sort of said, oh, what he said was egregious, he said, yeah, DaBaby really kicked the gays and the AIDS. He kicked the gays and the AIDS. I mean, it was just like, he may have defended and said what he did was wrong, but then he kind of dovetailed on it with the little side comment. It's like, all right, I hear you. I see you, dude. Like,
but
my interpretation of that when he said he kicked them in the AIDS.
Who came after DaBaby? It was the LGBT community.
It was lots of
Vosh,
people.
when he said that was like a dig. That was basically saying to use that type of language, to use AIDS in that derogatory way to talk about gay people or trans people, that is a low blow considering the AIDS epidemic and all of the hard work that's going into AIDS research and all of these amazing drugs that are saving people's lives. That's why he said, I don't remember his exact words, but he was shocked at DaBaby's comments. He was offended by it, right? So that wasn't him saying that, he kicked them in the AIDS. That wasn't, for me, my interpretation was that was a very low blow. That was disgusting. I wouldn't even say anything like that, but
that's what his comment was. That's what his follow-up was. Well, Rico has said Dave Chappelle is a comedian. There's no way in hell that he can be compared to Trump, Vosh. And it depends on how you compare them. I mean, what we're talking about is how Chappelle compared different things to get a result. And I'm saying that that's what Trump does. And, if you do it, you do it.
Well, as much as I said that I enjoyed the show, he did say things that I thought were very harsh. I think he said some things that, that I just looked at him. But going to Rick's point of him being a comedian, comedians have it hard right now. Comedians have it hard in this world where they can't come on and say things like they used to. And while we're talking about Dave Chappelle being a comedian, no one's talking about canceling Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live have gone places some weekends that I'm like, oh, okay. You're okay. You went all the way there. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody is taking the time to say, okay, Dave Chappelle, yes, you said some things in this special, but you also didn't. You were Dave Chappelle. People knew who they were looking at. If you know Dave Chappelle and you know what he's capable of, why turn it on?
Because I told you before I watched it, I said, I don't want to watch this. I like Dave Chappelle. I think he's hilarious. I do not want to lose respect for him because of this. Mm-hmm. And he made it clear in his show within the last 3 minutes that he was coming after people and he was making a point at some people, and he wanted to make sure that the LGBTQIA, QZ, XYZ, as he said, backed up off of him. So he said these things. He said back up off of him.
They should actually come together. They should come together because Dave Chappelle, and another thing that no one's mentioned is his friend, the trans woman that he befriended, who was a comedian who would come to all of his shows, who committed suicide. And Dave Chappelle spoke very lovingly and enthusiastically about this person, and even started a trust fund for her child, for her daughter, I believe. Yes. So no one's talking about that. So I think that Dave Chappelle and GLAAD and some of these other LGBTQI organizations should really come together and have a conversation, because I think there's a lot of clarity. I also think this culture of cancellation, I think it's ridiculous. I think that people are entitled to their opinions. I think that as long as you don't make defamatory and slanderous and libelous comments that could cause people or inspire people to hurt others, I think that's horrible and it should be illegal. But people are entitled to their opinions, right? And if someone said to me, if a guy came up and said to me, "Oh, I love Black people because you guys like watermelon," I know that's a microaggression, and I would say whatever I wanted to say, whatever I felt to say to him at that time, and I would walk away, because what he thinks of me, it does not matter. I have no cares or concerns about what people think about me. I have friends and family that I love. I have my work. I have you guys. I have this show. That is what makes Saladin who he is. So people just have to, I don't know. I'm just against people need to calm down, and also
calm down a little bit.
Well, what is people use this cancel culture thing. It's like a little buzzword. What is cancel culture?
That's what's happening with Dave Chappelle.
Isn't it people expressing their opinion about whether or not they choose to support someone? They're just doing it vocally. Isn't that ultimately what canceling someone is?
Will people lose their jobs as a result of canceling?
Well, here's people
their careers are destroyed.
And Anthony says, a comedian tells jokes, a commentator gives a commentary. Some comedians cross the line, then run back to the comedian side as a shield. And that's exactly what we're talking about. People going out and saying, hey, I'm just pushing the envelope. And the question is, well, what envelope are you pushing, and in which direction? Like, at a certain point, it's not just pushing an envelope. It is an agenda, and you're trying to do harm.
Well, Dave Chappelle has not apologized for anything that he said.
This is what I'm saying. You guys said that he apologized in the special about his things that he said to the LGBTQI community, and he didn't.
No, I think that he came on this show as in a way to apologize for some of the offensive things that he did. He is not apologized for doing this show.
He hasn't apologized really for saying anything. He's always said that he hasn't
clarifying.
said anything.
He was clarifying.
He was saying that he never said anything bad about anybody, and then goes on and just does these things that sort of make the point that he's kind of making without saying it.
Well, I want to know what did you all think of? I've been like writing down the lines of some of the lines that he said. I want to go here. He said gay people are minorities until they need to be white again. What does that mean to you? Because what does that mean to you?
I was at a bar once. I was at G Lounge in Chelsea in New York City, having my drink, minding my business, and this guy standing next to me just kept bumping into me and not saying anything. And I don't mean just like a little tap, like a real bump. And after the second time, I was like, excuse me. I was like, please be careful. You keep bumping into me and my drink is spilling. Oh, I'm sorry. But then 5 minutes later, another bump, a big bump, and more of my drink spills onto the floor. And then more. And so then I was like, listen, we're going to have a problem if you don't stop bumping me. I was like, you're being rude. I've asked you to stop. And he called security on me. And two security guys came over to talk to me. Nothing happened. I just moved because it was escalating. But I think that's an example of what Dave Chappelle was talking about.
I have a question for you guys. Are you gay?
Very.
Yes.
Are you black?
Very.
Yes.
So gays aren't gay until they need to be white. White people are always white.
He was talking about white people, Vosh. I
understand that, but
he was talking about gays, white people, and he
didn't say white people. He said gays, and this is what I'm saying.
He was talking about
his language specifically.
I disagree with that.
This is Vosh's interpretation of it, though.
This is what he said. White people are white people all the time. And I don't care how down somebody is. Somebody can have a white girlfriend, a boyfriend. But when the moment gets down to it, they are able to jump back into that other arena. That has always been the case. That is no different. He asked if gay people can be racist. He didn't ask if black people can be racist.
Well, since I posed that question, I want to just tell you what I felt when I heard him say, gay people are minorities until they need to be white again. When he said gay people, I think he meant all gay people. And when he said white again, I think he meant privileged. That's what I thought he meant. Because for me, that went back. See, a lot of these people who are looking at this, they don't know what it was like to be at the start of the AIDS epidemic. They don't know what it was like to be black at the start of the AIDS epidemic. Yes, you have watched Pose, which was really a true depiction of all of that. But when the gays came together for minorities to fight against, to demand that there were better support for people who had AIDS, the division came when the drugs became available. Everybody wanted to be. I took that point in that statement. White people were like getting the best drugs and getting the best opportunities and doing what they could do to take care of themselves. The black people were on the lower end, the minorities.
But that's on everything. No, I mean, that's a socioeconomic thing as well as a color thing.
That was again, the wake-up call for this special to black people. Wake the freak up. But in your own community, wake up.
He could have, again, why then the attack on gay people if his issue is with white people?
Well,
I mean, I'd like to. I mean, if I can bring up something else, as he was praising the gay movement, he was like, "Oh, if the Black Civil Rights Movement had been run by gays, we'd have been so far advanced." Well, again, here's a history lesson. The modern Black Civil Rights Movement was started by a gay man, Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin organized the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom and the March on Selma. he would have been the figurehead of the modern gay Black civil rights movement, except Black people said, no, we're not going to have you because that might damage and taint the color, our movement. So you go to the side, and they put Martin Luther King Jr. in front. Martin Luther King Jr. became very famous because he gave the speech of his life at the end of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, organized by a gay Black man.
Well, but Bosh, I know that, but Dave Chappelle is a comedian. He's not a historian. And so
my point is, if he's coming up with things that are not accurate to get people worked up, then it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo to get people worked up. And, I want to say to Rico, you may have missed this. I love Dave Chappelle. I didn't want to watch the show because I didn't want to change my opinion about him. So I think he's brilliant. This particular special showed that he has a vendetta, and he wanted to make sure that other comedians can come out and talk about all these things that no one could talk about before.
Oh, wow. I didn't see it. What did Anthony Quinn say? He said, Vosh hit it. Black gays have to declare their loyalty to either Blackness or gayness. White gays don't have to choose.
Yep. And we get that. I mean, that's it. But his point, Dave's point of trying to sort of separate things. And I'm like,
it was, I think, again, I think the best way to describe how I felt for this special, because I had no idea what I was going to get out of it. I walked away feeling like I went into a library and some books were there, and they all said, Alvin, you need to read this. You need to think about this. You need to research this. I walked away thinking, okay, I got things that I need to look into that in my mind went over my head, but in a comedic way. Dave Chappelle brought them to my energy. And so it doesn't make me a better person, doesn't make me a bad person, but it does make me a person that became a little bit more aware.
Of, like I think you said, of what, like racial issues?
It made me become aware of a lot of things, because this special has had people talking online and everything that it's making me see other points of views of how people think and how people feel. I didn't know all of these things about Dave Chappelle's show, let alone that there was one person, a comedian, that is generating this much energy or this much controversy about something that he does as part of his career. I just didn't know.
And again, a part of me doesn't understand why people are in such an uproar, because my interpretation of it, I think he was trying to raise the white flag by expressing, again, I hate to repeat myself, but he was expressing his perspective and his experiences with gay and transgender people. And again, he spoke very lovingly about this transgender woman that he was close friends with and started a trust fund for her daughter. So if he is under the threat of constant attack by any particular groups, I think Bosh said at the end, he said, I'm coming for you. I mean, what is he supposed to do? But I do believe that the LGBTQI community, leaders of different various and sundry LGBTQI organizations should sit with Dave Chappelle for a conversation, because I think there's potentially there's obviously a lot of misunderstanding. So I think that, again, go ahead.
I was going to say, he did sort of come for the community. I mean, when he stood there and said that gender is a fact, when he was talking about J.K. Rowling, he said it a couple of times, gender is a fact. We on this show have talked about how sex does not equal gender, and neither one of them are a fact, right?
But you're either born with a penis, a vagina, or,
But see, this is why I make it really clear that we are, I'm an intersex activist. We talk about this.
Right.
XX and XY are not the only chromosome patterns that exist. I mean,
I don't deny that, but physically we are born with certain organs, right?
But not, well, I guess again, here we are talking about intersex people where we're saying that they are not. Not everyone is born that fits into a clean box of male or female. We're told in biology, if you cross a red rose and a white rose, you're going to get a certain percent of red, a certain percentage of white, and then a certain percentage of pink. And those pink are trans and intersex and other types of people and body types. We expect them, and I don't understand why we don't make room for them and why we treat them so poorly.
No, but we have made tremendous strides. Young children who are born physically with penises, born as boys, are now being welcomed and allowed to transition and grow up as little girls, and I support that. And I believe that you may be born one sex, one gender, but you feel like, that you're not a boy, you're a girl. I get that, and I respect that, and I appreciate that. But whether it's some pink or you're born with a penis or a vagina, is gender not a fact? Is it not a fact that you're either born with this, that, or the other, or a combination?
Well, again, sex does not equal gender. And as Jessica said, some of us were born hermaphrodites, where they have both sex.
I alluded to that. Yeah, absolutely. Right? I didn't use the word hermaphrodite because I wasn't sure if that was politically correct.
I'm saying it only because you said it, because some people are offended, right? Yeah. But it's not a fact. And as an activist, I felt and experienced that my activism got a pushback because of this special. I suddenly had to repeat to some people, is it possible that
Dave Chappelle misspoke, perhaps? And that's another thing. Well, when he made that statement, I thought about sex.
No. He did. He misspoke.
He did not misspeak. He said it twice. Gender is a fact. He did not.
Maybe he doesn't know the difference.
This is my point. He doesn't know, so he shouldn't be speaking on it, because it is affecting people's ability to walk safely on the planet. It is affecting people's ability to.
I do not feel that me as a Black gay man, I don't think his special would cause any transgendered person to have to look over our shoulders no more than we have been. I don't feel any less threatened by his special. And I've even, I've heard a transgendered woman talk about this in a way that, again, helped me understand. She said, this is the turf that we came with. We come here as a Black man. There are certain things that I walk in this world, Black gay man, that I walk in this world every day having to think about. And Dave Chappelle hasn't changed anything. I don't feel like he perpetuated it. I certainly don't think that he should be canceled. I certainly don't think that this reporter asked Mayor Bowser this week, are you going to take the key to the city away from him? I said, what?
Wow.
What?
I also think
what
too.
What is going on here?
Yeah, I think going back to the friend that he spoke so lovingly about, the trans woman, I think a part of that message to me was actually to straight men to say, don't judge someone because they are trans. Like, that person could actually, she's trans, whatever. So what? That's who she is. And you may have certain preconceived notions and religious beliefs and ideas about everything behind who this trans woman is, but you can miss out on a really cool person. So you could miss out on a really loving person who, despite their transness, right? They're a person. They're a wonderful human being. They're very loving. They're supportive. This person comes to all of my shows. There was also that message. That was a part of my interpretation.
Certainly. Now, I read up on Daphne, this person he talks about, and there were trans people who were talking about it who actually knew Daphne, who said that when all of that was going down, most of the people that were dragging her online were his fans. And he alluded to the fact that it was a lot of the trans people that were driving her to, her end result.
Where's the data?
It was online. I will send you links. It was all online. It was all on Facebook. But these were I read an article today. I mean, I did research on this. And it's like, okay, so again, painting a picture with information that's not correct to get people to sort of think a certain way about a situation. I don't think he should be canceled. I'm not trying to say that he should be canceled. What I'm saying is that that was extremely irresponsible. by someone who was clearly hurt and who had an agenda with this particular show. It wasn't like, oh, I'm coming out to make amends. He did exactly what he wanted to do.
Well, her family didn't
Vosh, were there
feel
any
that
moments
way.
that made you chuckle? Vosh, were there any moments that made you chuckle just a little bit?
I chuckled at the beginning about Clifford because I remember him saying, oh, I'm going to do this setup, and I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen with Clifford. But not really. I really didn't. Okay. And I don't know if part of it was because I was watching this knowing we were going to talk about it, and I didn't want to watch it. I mean, I almost sent Alvin a message. I was like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch it. I like Dave Chappelle too much. I like him too much. I don't want to change my opinion of him. And, you know, I hope he gets through whatever he's going through, because, again, like I said, I can see that someone was hurt and deeply affected by all that he probably went through, but he needs to be educated on Black history, on LGBTQI history, and on gender and intersex stuff. And that's what I got to say about him, because
Well, he was also hurt. He said he was hurt too. And
totally.
So, but again, empathy works both ways. And so it works both ways.
He said it was either gay or Black. And that was another thing that got me. It's like, so I have to choose between being gay or Black? Like, where's the other stuff? He drew the line on that.
I have to, I have to. Okay. You know what, guys? First of all, this conversation is all about love. And Dave Chappelle, we have given you a whole show. And like all the other people who are online talking and doing what they're doing, they have propelled this show to, they have given it more credit. More people will probably watch it because we are actually talking about it. But thank you, Vosh and Saladin, for your opinions on this show. On this special with Dave Chappelle. And I want the world to be a better place. I would love for us to come and talk about things and give our opinion and walk away feeling, okay, I said what I had to say and that's done. And hopefully at least I felt like we've done that tonight. So I want to thank you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone who showed up and with the comments, because there's a lot of stuff in here that I would still like to continue and talk about. So if I tag you in these comments, you come on back and continue the conversation, please.
And I just want to say to my trans family out there, I love you guys. I hope I didn't say anything tonight that offended anyone, because that was obviously not my intention. Again, I've worked with and for trans people. I have former clients who are trans, friends who are trans. So I am in 100% support of you, and I love you.
Well, thank you. You are a guest. Please don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a segment that we want to, bring some little light and airy, energy into the room right now. So if we can go into our next segment of the show, why would they do that? Whoa. Why would they do that? So, why would they do that? So, this week we have two comments that we want to make of people who we said this week. Why would they do that? Our first one is Joe Gruden, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Gruden. Yes. Joe Gruden. We all know who he is. What is it? The LA? Is it the Raiders? He is the coach of the Raiders.
Of the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders.
They have pulled emails from 2011. Okay, they have pulled emails from 2011 that are full of homophobic. Wow, can you believe this? Transphobic, also language from him, and emails where he talked about everybody. And so he made a lot of comments about people in emails. So my biggest why would he do that, before I get into most of it, is why do you think he would do that in email, knowing that it could come back to him? No, maybe he didn't know. Why would you think he would do that in email?
Entitlement and privilege.
Mm-hmm. And acceptability. And his name is John Gruden.
Did I say Jay?
You said Joe, I think.
I think I said Joe. John, thank you.
Yeah, well, that's Norman. Our producer sent us a little message saying it's John.
Thank you, Norman. It is John.
Saladin, I agree with you. It is, there's a certain amount of comfort and privilege in that circle. that is systemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
he knew, you know, these emails were like out in 2018. The only reason why they found them is because they were going into an investigation for something else, meaning that no one ever would have found them if they weren't trying to investigate something else. So
the Washington football team. It was the Washington football team that they were investigating, and they found these emails that he was having with George Allen, who was, I think he was an owner of the Washington Redskins, or he was high up in the Washington Redskins chain, and they were sharing pictures of the cheerleaders. And everything. It was just, again, why would you do that?
Wait, on their work email?
I don't know.
It's horrible either way. But if they did it over their work email, that's really dumb. And why? Why?
Well, because there's an understanding that if people don't already feel the same way that he did, that they at least would tolerate it, because there is a certain currency that goes with going along with it. You don't want to get people upset and report it, because if you do, then they're not going to be themselves around you. And so that's why he felt comfortable. Saladin, I was just saying that he felt comfortable because he knew that everyone was going to just generally accept it. There's a currency with just accepting that Anthony says, that good old boy culture, and that goes against racism, homophobia, all the things that he went against.
All the things. Well, he has resigned. And I don't think that he's going to, well, I don't know. It doesn't look like there's a good path for him right now. Especially, and this is one of the gentlemen. I want to make sure, because I don't want to get his name wrong, because this is one of the gentlemen that he see, Saladin, you're so funny. This is one of the gentlemen that he talked about his lips, and he just went.
He was ratchet.
He's a ratchet. He is ratchet. So
he is reckless and ratchet.
John Gruden, you are one of the fellas, and why would they do that? And last, before we leave, I don't know if you all know it or not, but in Michigan, if you leave something at somebody's house for a long period of time and you ask them not to throw it away and they throw it away, there's a chance that you could sue them. Okay, first of all. And my first question is, would you all ever mention porn and parents in the same sentence?
No. Ew.
Ew. Well, a guy in Michigan just sued his parents. He actually just won the case. He sued his parents because he moved there in their house after a divorce, and then he moved out and he left his porn there. And he sued his parents for $40,000. $40,000, and they have to pay the court fees.
Yeah, that stuff's expensive. I don't know if you've ever gotten something that's two-headed or that vibrates. The vibration makes it go higher. And
baby,
I'm just saying.
He had boxes for $40,000. Now, I don't know how much porn he had, but it says in this article here, it was a dozen boxes of porn and 2 boxes of sex toys, to be exact, that he left at their house, and all worth $40,000. So, but he sued his parents. So I want to know what Christmas is going to be like at their house, okay? Because
I know now that he has his toys back, I know what Christmas will be like at his house.
At him, he is not. He is no. I thought so. That I thought ooh. But his father said that he threw them away because he felt like they were disastrous to his life.
That is not his decision to make, and I appreciate him still wanting to be a father, but the law was clearly on his son's side, and the
father started using the toys, and now he's wearing the pins.
Okay.
You made me pray. Like I had to put my hands together.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and that was our why would they do that for this week. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to wrap up right now. Thank you so much to Vash Bodhi and Saladin there. Thank you guys for this discussion tonight about the Dave Chappelle special. It's been a very informative topic. Thank you to all the viewers that have chimed in. I know that you're coming in from different places, but thank you so much for chiming in. Before we go, I have to give you the words of the week. No matter how much falls on us, we keep plowing ahead. That's the only way that we can keep the roads clear. And that was a quote by Greg Kincaid. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining. He said this week, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Until next time, we will see you on the next. He said. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.